Well, last year, our region celebrated Pittsburgh 250 with two major cycling events, the American Eagle Outfitters Tour of Pennsylvania, presented by Highmark Healthy High Five, and the PNC Legacy Trail Ride. We've been building bike trails for decades. The Great Allegheny Passage stretches all the way to Washington, D.C. So perhaps it should be no surprise that we're now home to our very own Bicycle Café, the Over-the-Bar, or OTB Bicycle Café, to be exact. Mike Kotyk brought the concept to Pittsburgh. He's the owner of the cafe, and welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Should mention you're a native of the region, up in Sharon, but now right in the heart of the city of Pittsburgh, or more particularly the South Side Works. What made you think that was the ideal location for a bicycle cafe?
Well, I've been in the city for about 5 years, and living here, I skipped around to a couple different neighborhoods, and I really fell in love with the South Side, and lived there for a couple years before buying into the cafe that I have now. So.
Okay. So it's a great neighborhood, a lot of young people. I would assume it's a good demographic fit if you're going to build a restaurant theme around bicycles?
Absolutely. With the colleges right across the river and the new Southside Works development, and then the great people over at American Eagle, it's been a great neighborhood for us to be in.
Well, I think we have some images to give people a little bit of a sense of what the OTB cafe looks like. I got to ask you, you see your logo there. What exactly does OTB, or over the bar, mean?
Well, OTB is a cycling term for when you wreck your bike by flying over your handlebars.
Okay. So, over the bar.
Over the bar.
But there is a bicycle hanging above the bar I saw there, right?
Absolutely. So we also have bikes above the bar. We have a large tandem bicycle right above the bar, and then about 5 other bicycles hanging from the walls and ceiling.
And yeah, we mentioned you were from Sharon, which is, of course, home to the always famous Quaker Steak and Lube. Was it somewhat influential in how you develop a theme restaurant like this?
Absolutely. I worked for Quaker Steak and Lube for about 8 years, from a busboy up to a manager before I left, and decided to go back to college, and that's what landed me in Pittsburgh. Wrapped up with college and moved down here to get a job.
Okay, and a landscape architect, actually. That's the day job? Right?
That's my day job. I went to Chatham University for their Master's in Landscape Architecture program. It's a fairly new program there. I started there in their 2nd semester, and I finished up just this past summer and worked for a local landscape architecture and planning firm, Pashik Associates, whose focus is park and recreation planning. So I work on greenways and trails plans for my day-to-day work.
Okay, so but I can see all these themes kind of fit together, and I assume you're a cyclist too?
Absolutely. My wife and I are avid mountain bikers, and I always said I was a mountain biker. I like to joke until I met her, and then I realized that I wasn't quite the serious mountain biker, but she's brought me along, and I've been doing it pretty seriously for about 3 years now. So.
Well, that's really great. And we should mention the cafe is brand new. I mean, you just opened what, at the end of January?
End of January we opened. We started our kitchen on January 12th, and then had our grand opening on January 30th after we worked our way through the menu a little bit and got our chef Taylor acclimated to working in the kitchen in the cafe.
Well, you look at a neighborhood like the South Side, and obviously the demographics are right for what you want to do, but it's already a pretty vibrant nightlife scene, lots of bars, lots of clubs. So how then, do you make an entry into a market like that?
Well, my goal and my plan to attack the South Side demographic was to go after something different, which is a lunch crowd. I knew, being on Carson Street, that we would get the evening foot traffic or bar traffic from the younger people, so I wanted to target businesses like American Eagle and Southside Works employees and local businesses for a lunch crowd, and it's actually been really good for me. Our lunch is doing better than our dinner is right now, so I might have to go after the dinner crowd next.
That's interesting. Yeah, and you've got bicycles in the bar. Do you find it's in the middle of the winter when you open, but are people riding bikes to the cafe?
Yes, absolutely. And I made the mistake of not having bike racks the day I opened the door, and got beat up about it a little bit in some of the local blogs, and immediately got a friend from down the street, Chris Beach at Thick Bikes, to build me a bike rack. So we have a rather unique keystone-shaped bike rack out front, and I'm also working with the Bicycle and Pedestrian coordinator of the city, and Bike Pittsburgh to get some Three Rivers bike racks as well.
Well, you're going to need them by spring. If you already need them now, you're really going to need them when the weather gets a little warmer.
Absolutely. I'm hoping to have lots of bikes out there, and in fact, just 2 Saturdays ago, we had over 27 bikes tied up out front for lunch. So I was very happy to see that, and I can only imagine it's going to be better once spring rolls around.
Well, congratulations. What a cool concept. I know it's relatively new even across the country. It's great to see it happening right here in our region, the OTB Cafe on Pittsburgh's South Side.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back in a minute with a little dollars and cents. Stay with us.